Hello team, once again I welcome you to my YouTube channel. In this short video we are going to be talking about IaC, infrastructure as code, and we are going to be taking a short dive on how to use Terraform to create repository in GitHub. You will all agree with me that when it comes to resources and infrastructure management, IaC has improved tremendously in the world of DevOps. We have very powerful IaC tools that can perform variety of functions, but each of these tools excel in different aspects of their capabilities. The two common IaC tools, IaC infrastructure as code, the two common ones are Terraform and Ansible. And these two tools can perform almost similar functions, but each of them have their strengths and weaknesses. When it comes to Terraform, it excels or very powerful when it comes to infrastructure provision. When you want to provision infra, Terraform is very powerful and is the go-to tool to use. While when it comes to configuration management, when it comes to config management, Ansible is better. This is my opinion and the opinion of so many people in the industry. Even though Terraform can equally manage configurations and Ansible can also create infrastructure, but it is better and more efficient when Terraform focuses on infrastructure provision and Ansible, focus on configuration management. It now depends on your choice and what your company chooses to do. So this is just a brief dive into IaC. Now, in today's video, we are going to be using Terraform to create a Git repository in GitHub. You know that Terraform can be used to create variety of resources using different providers. As long as you can know the provider, you can create a resources or you can create a resource in that provider. Now, provider in this case is that platform that offer the infrastructure you want to create. For example, we have providers such as AWS if you want to create cloud resources. We have Azure. We have Google, GCP. We have Alibaba. We have Repo and all that. All these are providers or cloud providers. And if you need to create any resources in any of their platforms, then you need them as a provider. Also, we have some other provider like GitHub, like we are going to see in this video, and so many other. In fact, we have local provider. You can use Terraform to create resource on your local computer. Now, what are the things that are needed? The two basic items or objects that are needed for you to create a resource in any provider is: one, the name of the provider, okay, and 2, the authentication. Terraform is a different platform, while the provider where you want to create the resources is also a different platform. So there must be a connection between them. Terraform must be able to connect to the platform in order to create the resources. So you need configuration or authentication that will allow Terraform to connect to the provider. So in this case now, we want to create a Git repository in GitHub. So in this case, our provider is what? GitHub. Our provider become GitHub. And how do we authenticate? GitHub can authenticate through different means, through username and password, and through GitHub app, excuse me, and through personal access token. So, but the most efficient one and recommended one is what? The GitHub personal access token. So we are going to be using these 2 items to what? To connect to our GitHub and use Terraform to create repository. So the first thing we are going to do now is let us go and create a GitHub personal access token. So I'm going to go onto my GitHub repo, my GitHub account. Let's see if I can get my GitHub account. Okay. All right, let me just pick one. Let's go to my GitHub account. GitHub. Going to go in. Now, this is my GitHub account profile. So to create a personal access token, I'm going to go to my profile name at the top right. I will click on it. Then I will go straight down to settings. I'll click on settings. Then under settings on the left-hand pane, I'm going to go right to the bottom where we have developer settings. I'll click on it and I will select personal access token and I will select the classic type. So when I select the classic type, then if you see at the top, at the right top here, we have generate new token. I will click on generate new token. Then I will click on select new token, still the classic one. And then, of course, depending on how you set up your GitHub, it's going to ask you to authenticate. So it has me to authenticate into this. So I'm going to be using my authenticator app. And I'm going to quickly pick up my 2-factor authentication pin for my GitHub. Okay. I'm trying to get that. Just a minute. Yes, I got it. And I'm going to put the figure 40976337. Okay, now I'm in my GitHub repo. So I'm going to create an account. I'm going to create a token. I will just call it Terraform token. The name doesn't matter, depends on you. So, and this one I'm just going to delete it after this. So this is just for demo, so you don't have to keep it. So I'm just going to give it random. Let me just give it random permission. Always know that the best practice is the practices of what? Less privilege. We are going to give any token only access to only what they need. But just for this purpose, I'm just giving it random permission. Okay. So, but in the production environment, you have to give it just only the permission that it needs. Okay, so I've given it a lot of permission now. So I'll just go ahead and what? Generate token. Now, when this token is created, you have only one opportunity to see it. So you have to copy and save it. If you don't save it, you won't be able to retrieve it. However, you can create as many tokens as possible, but it's not advisable that you duplicate token for security purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this token, and I'm going to keep it just in my, I'm going to keep it right here. I'll keep it right here. So we're going to come back to it. Now that I've created my token, now let me show you, this is my GitHub profile, and this is my repository. You can see what I have now. So by the time you create the repository, we should be able to see the new repository come up here. So the next thing that I'm going to go to, I'll be using VS Code. So I'm going to go to my VS Code terminal. I'm going to open the terminal, and I want to be using my 2WSL. So the first thing I want to do now is I want to create a directory that is going to contain my Terraform file. So I'll just call it Terraform GitHub. Okay, and I'll make what? Make directory Terraform GitHub. Okay, that directory has been made now. So I'll cd into it, cd into Terraform GitHub. Okay, I'm inside the directory now. So the next thing I want to do is I want to open up this directory onto my VS Code editor. And then there's a simple way to do it. All you just need is to type code and period. In this case, you must be inside the directory you intend to open. Okay, and there's a particular setting that you need to do on the on your VS Code to enable this command to work. So I said code period, and if I click enter, it's going to open another terminal with the what? With the file that I just created. You see, look at the file, Terraform GitHub. Okay, and I can go ahead and close the other one if I like, and if I like, I can leave it. So this is the new one now. So inside it, I'm going to be creating some file. So in this process, I want to create a repository. I will give the name of the repository, and I will be using variables to create a repository because I don't want to expose my credential. So the next first thing I want to create now is I want to create main.tf file. So I will create the file now. Touch main.tf file. After main.tf file, I will also create, let me quickly show you what I want to do. Okay, so inside my Terraform folder now, I have a Terraform file. Terraform folder. Inside it, I will create my main.tf file. This is the file, this is the Terraform file that contains the resources I want to create. I will also create a file called variable.tf file. Okay, and of course, as the name implies, it's one that will contain the variable that I want to pass. And I will be creating another one called terraform.tfvars. Now, this terraform.tf files contain the input value for your variable. You know, you have created the main file, which is going to contain your resources. You have created a variable file that will provide the variable that your resources needs. Now, this variable needs value. The value of this variable is stored in the terraform.tf files. So anytime if you provide a default value, then Terraform will not go into TF files. But any value you provide in the Terraform file will be assumed by Terraform as if that is what you want to use. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my terminal. So I want to create multiple files now. If you know how to use your Linux command very well. So I want to create main.tf file and also variable terraform.tf file. Okay, why our terraform.tfvars is what? Is a plain text file. Okay, so you have to know it's a plain text file. It's not a Terraform file. So I'll click enter, and you can see all the file has been filled. No, this is not a this one cannot be a Terraform file. So I'll just remove it. Remove terraform.tf file. Okay, I'll remove it. So I'll clear my screen. So I can just create it here. It's an ordinary file. Okay, it's a plain text file. So I will call it .txt file. Okay, I'll just come here. This is my folder. I'll just click on create new file, and I will type terraform.tfvars. Okay, now we are now going to put values in these files. Now I already have my files. I already have my file created, so I'll just copy and paste it and explain to you. So I'm inside main.tf file now. So I will copy this and I will explain what it's saying. So I will come here and I will paste this. Okay, so in the main.tf file now, what do I have here? Okay, I have the provider, which is what? GitHub, like I've explained to you, because I want to create these resources in GitHub. So my provider becomes GitHub. Now, how do I need to authenticate? I want to authenticate using GitHub token. And where is my GitHub token? It's going to be saved in my variable file. That's why you have var. Okay? And what is the value of the GitHub? Or what is the name of the GitHub token? Maybe in this case, I call it GitHub token. That one is going to be in my terraform.tfvars. Okay? So after that, I have the resources I want to create. So in these resources, I want to create a GitHub repository. And what is the name of the GitHub repository? My GitHub repo. That is the name. And what is the description? This is the description. And the visibility. So that is the property of the repo now. I want to make it public. If you want to make it private, you can change it from private. And does it have license? Yes. I'm going to be using the MIT license. The second resources I want to create is also what? Branch. I want my my repo to have branches. By default, main branch will be created, but I can go ahead and specify here. I want to create a main branch. I also want to create a second branch called feature branch. And I want to add a README file to what? To the repo. So these are the three components of my repo. Now, in the variable.tf file, what do we have there? You have to define your variable. And what is your variable? What is your variable here? If I paste this, look at my variable is what? The GitHub token. Don't forget, in the main file, we have what? var, that is. So this is telling you that the GitHub token is inside the variable file. So that's we have var, which is variable dot GitHub token. And if you go into the variable file, you have the GitHub token here. Okay. Then this is the description and the sensitivity. Now, what next? The value of this token, where are we going to keep it? It's going to be inside here. And it must be the same name that you have put here, this name, GitHub token, so that when variable file is looking for it, it will know where to fetch it. So I'll go into terraform.tf file, and I will paste GitHub token. You can see I'm seeing autocomplete here because I've installed Terraform extension on my VS Code. So I will just click tab to accept it, and I will go and copy my token, the one we just generated, I will copy it. I'm going to delete it after this training, and I'm going to put it inside this place. Paste. So this is what? This is my token. So now the configuration is completed. You have told your Terraform to create these resources, and if it's looking for token, which is necessary for authentication, that is only what the token is doing here, so that Terraform will know the exact place where to go and create the resources. If you want to create the resource on, let's say, AWS, then you are going to need the name of the provider, which is AWS, and you are going to need the authentication, which is, in this case, is going to be access key and secret access key of your AWS console or AWS account for you to connect your Terraform to your AWS. But in this case, the authentication is through token that will connect our Terraform to GitHub. So now that everything looks good, we'll go ahead and run Terraform command. The first Terraform command you want to run is Terraform init, and that one will initialize the Terraform background. So I'm going to type Terraform init. So let me move my this cursor up, and let me zoom in a little bit for you to see it. Okay, so I type Terraform init, and I'll click enter. It's an error. Some problem with configuration. Okay, value string. So we said unterminated template string on line 25 in the main.tf file. It said on line 25, no closing mark. So something is missing. So let's go to line 25. Line 25. So you see, there should be a closing mark. So I wanted to write this repository was created by Terraform. And there must be a closing remark. There must be what? A colon. You can see I started with a quote. So I must also put a quote at the back. So I put a quote now. So let's go back and run it. So that is one thing about here. It's going to tell you the error somehow point to where the error is. So I'm going to clear my screen. I'm going to do Terraform init again. And this time it's working. The initialization is fine. So it has initialized successfully. So the next thing, there are so many Terraform commands. We have Terraform format. Terraform format, we arrange. Let me quickly run through it. So I'm going to clear this screen again. There's another one called Terraform format. So this one is going to align if, let me show you what it's going to do. If your Terraform, let's assume I'm going to move, look at this line 14 now. I'm going to move it towards the inner part. Let me move it here. Okay, you can see that it doesn't align. And let me move this line 19. Let me move this to this side. I see that they did not align. If I want Terraform format, it's going to align them. So if I click now and I click align, you can see it. They are back to their original. So that is what Terraform format does. It will align your code in what to synchronize in to align with the correct syntax. We also have a command we call Terraform validate. So Terraform validate will check if your code is valid. But I've seen sometimes that even after it has told you that your code is valid, you still run into a problem. So let's run Terraform validate. Let us see. Okay, it said the configuration is valid. Now the next thing is Terraform plan. Terraform plan will tell you what your code is going to do on the provider platform. So I will write Terraform plan. Meanwhile, you don't have to run all this. And do you notice something? Immediately I press Terraform plan, it shows some other information here. You can see this has been created. I'm going to show you what that is. So it has told us, it says what? If you go to the very top of the Terraform plan, Look at it. It says Terraform will perform the following action. It's going to create the feature branch, okay? And it's going to create the main branch, and it's going to create a repository called my Git repo, okay? So you can see now Terraform has told us what, Terraform plan has told us what it's going to do. So it's going to add what? 4 resources. And if you see that something has been created here, okay? If you look at it, that is the what? The backend configuration, okay, of your Terraform. It tells you the state of your Terraform infrastructure on where it is created. Okay. Now, I will go ahead now. I'll clear the screen again. Let me move it a little bit up. I'll clear the screen again now. And I will do Terraform apply. Now, Terraform apply is the one that will eventually create the resources that has been displayed by Terraform plan. Now, this Terraform apply has some other flag. Now, if I click enter as it is now, it's going to run through the process of the resources that are going to be created, just like the plan has shown us. And it's going to ask you to confirm that you want to create it. And then you have to type yes to create it. However, if you don't want to wait for the prompt and you want it to run without asking you for confirmation, then you are going to add a flag called -auto approve. If you run this as it is now, it's not going to ask you for confirmation. It will just go ahead and confirm. But it's always very good sometimes to ask for permission to confirm so that you can go through your process. So I'm not going to run this. I'll just do Terraform apply. So it's going to run through the same process just like plan, and it's going to ask you, say, do you want to perform this action? Then only yes will be acceptable. So just type yes, and it will go ahead and create it. So it's creating the infrastructure now. So let's see, it's creating the infrastructure, and it's completed now. It said apply complete, resources 4 added. So if I go back to my GitHub now, let me go back to my GitHub, and you can see this is what I had before. Let me just refresh. And you can see now I have a new repo. And you can see the repo is what? This repo was created by what? Terraform. Just updated now. So, and if you click into the repo, what do I said I wanted in the repo? I want a license and I want the README file. And if you look at the README file, it said this repository was created using Terraform. If you go back to the VS Code, that is exactly what we asked it to do. Let me show you. You see, this repository was created using Terraform. Do you understand what I've just seen now? So this has been what? Has been created. Now, because something Terraform state file, if you look at it here, let me click at it. If you see this Terraform state file is the snapshot of the photo picture at a point in time of your infrastructure. It tells you the state of your infrastructure at a point in time. So it is auto-generated by Terraform whenever you have run Terraform apply. And if you want to create any other thing, for example, now, if I go ahead now and I type Terraform apply again, Terraform will go back to your state file and see if there's any difference. It will compare your state file to your current state file on the provider platform, and it will compare them to see if any changes has made. If there's no changes has made, it will not create anything. So, for example, now if I do Terraform apply, let me just click again, just see what it's going to tell me. You see, it said apply complete. Its results is 0 added. And if you look at it, it said no change. Your infrastructure match the configuration. That is, the infrastructure I have on my GitHub matches what? Matches the configuration. So nothing is going to be created. So if I go back to my repository now, you can see the repo has been created with the name. And if I click on the branch, look at the branch here, you can see two branches have been created. This is the main branch and this is your branch. Okay, so you can see how easy it is to use Terraform to create resources. And now I can decide to um, keep this configuration for future use. If I want to create another repo with a different name, all I just need is to go into my repository and make changes. So if I want to change the name now, I can go into repo and change what is the name of my repository. Let me change it to my Git repo. Now let me see if I can do Control F. Okay, no, sorry, Control F. Let me highlight this. I do Control. Sorry, I'm going to clear this. I'm going to clear this. What I want is my EU repo. Okay, so this is what I want to change. Let me replace it with my new repo. My new repo. Okay. And look at it says replace to enter. But this one is replace all. Okay. So I'll just replace all. So if I replace all now, I expect and see that all the places that I have my Git repo has been replaced by my new repo. So if I go ahead now, okay, if I go ahead now and click, let me clear my screen for you, and I click again, Terraform, apply. Let us see what happens. And I type yes. Okay. Now, if you want to do this process on your console, you can see what the steps you're going to go through and try to go to your console, edit name and change name, and or delete the whole repo and create another one. But now I have just changed the name. And let me go to my GitHub repo now. Look at what I have now. Now let me refresh. You can see now that the old one cannot be found again. Now let me now go to my repository. You can see the name has changed to my new repo. So this is the power of IaC and Terraform in this case. In a matter of a second, you can recreate any other thing, you can rename any other thing. And now let's assume that I don't want this repository. I can go ahead and destroy it. Now let us see. So I'll just go here. Let me clear my screen for you to see the command. And now I'll just type terraform destroy. I don't want it again. Terraform destroy. Now, it's going to go through the same process of asking you, but I don't want it to ask me for a prompt. So I'll just do auto approve. Sorry, this is the wrong spell. So Terraform destroy auto the iPhone auto approve. In this case, it's not going to ask me for a yes. We'll just go ahead and resolve it. So I'm running it now. Let us see what happens. You can see it's destroying it. Just how long does it take? 2 seconds. Within 2 seconds, it has been destroyed. Now let's go to our repo. Let me refresh. You can see the repo is gone. So this is how you can use Terraform to create resources in GitHub and any other provider as the case may be. I hope you enjoyed this short video. Please, if you like this video, kindly subscribe and make a comment or like. This will allow me to reach out to many people, so will motivate me to create more video. I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.